Hey guys, Brianna here. As you can see from my channel, I posted a video also about the books I love this year, and I must have listed like at least 20 books. There are a lot of books that I quite love that I gave 4 or 5 stars that I enjoy that really made my year, and out of 70 I would say that's not bad. But I really felt compelled to make a video about the books that disappointed me the most this year, and I made it a much shorter list because I didn't want to rag on too many books, and I really didn't feel like a lot of books let me down. So I'm not going to talk about books that I read that I hadn't really heard of and that I didn't like. I'm talking about books that I had heard of and heard good things about and absolutely hated. So let's get started. So the first is The Circle by David Eggers, and if you've seen my wrap-up video already, you will know a little bit about why I hate this book. I'm not going to go into crazy more detail. I'll probably talk about the same about it. So The Circle is about the dangers of privacy if Facebook and social media sites all converge into like one big monopoly, and then everyone can see what you're doing at the same time, because being open or being visible is like the best thing. Then people can be held accountable for their actions, and absolute privacy is gone. So there's this girl, she hates her current job after graduating, and a girl she used to room with and be best friends with in college, she contacts and she's like, hey, I'm working at this great company called The Circle, and everyone knows about The Circle, it's great, there's technology, newest projects. So she goes to work there. All the characters suck. They're flat, not well written. The main character, her parents can't stand her. Basically, they prefer her ex-boyfriend to her. It's really weird. It's not explained why. And then as she comes into The Circle and they tell her, hey, she never once is like, this is a bad idea. It's ridiculous, and there's not even good brainwashing, quote-unquote brainwashing involved. There's one scene or two where they talk about this motto that they have, which I think is a pretty common element, part of this process of brainwashing. I mean, there's a thing in 1984, to get you to believe what you're saying, basically, but there is no good reason why she should think this is all a good idea, and she never once is like, this isn't a good idea. And then, she has, a romance with 2 guys, which is really weird and very poorly done, and then one of the guys ends up being someone quite important who's trying to stop the company, and she's just like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about, I don't believe you, it's so dumb. It's honestly so dumb. Terrible execution of the story. I first gave it 2 stars because I thought, well, it's kind of an original idea, I'll give it a star for that, but the more I thought about the book, the more angry I got, and I was like, no, it's so stupid and so poorly done, and I don't get why everyone talks about it it's terrible, okay, it's terrible, and it's just, I mean, all across the board, the way the plot's done, the believability, the whole point of a good dystopian novel is that you feel like it's real, you feel like it's something that could happen. In this case, the government could do nothing to stop The Circle monopolizing. Government officials, and I'm sure there'd be some idiots that would think this is a good idea, to have everyone be able to see what everyone's doing all at the same time, but the government literally has no control over stopping this company. It's whack. It's whack. And while I can be quite cynical about the government and what they think are good ideas and what they allow, just the pace of this was just so off, and the characters were boring and flat. I don't think this writer knows how to write families. I don't think they know how to write. It's just, I'm sorry, it was bad. It was very, very bad. Let me know if you loved it, because if you do, you didn't think the pacing was off? You didn't think the characters were flat? I don't know. Okay. That was the first book that disappointed me. The second one is Artemis Fowl. I read it in German for German practice. And I'm keeping it just because I'm keeping all my German books, whether I like them or not, if they're beautiful like this, because this is a beautiful edition. So Artemis Fowl by Ian Colfer. Terrible. Another book that had terrible pacing. Now, I understand this is a kid's novel. It's about a 12-year-old Artemis Fowl. His family has been thieves for years, but they're not in their glory days anymore, so he wants to revenge on them by stealing this elf's treasure or something. The way, I understand that kids, as they read, they can just pick up stuff and go with it, but maybe because I'm an adult, I don't really appreciate it, I can't do that, but magical creatures are coming out of the woodworks left and right, no explanation, and when you do get an explanation, it's like, what? How does this fit into the magical world that's going on here? It makes no sense. You're just supposed to accept certain things, accept the histories, which don't make any sense, accept the plot line, accept the... It's just... all over the place, and I couldn't enjoy it. It was just nonsense to me, and not in a good kind of nonsense way. I had a couple friends who were like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're reading this, I love it, da 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 da. And I felt bad because I was like, guys, I'm not loving this at all. I did not like it. I'm not reading any more in the series. I'm done with it. I'm going to read something else in German. It was just poor. And the 12-year-old is, like, evil and rude and mean for no good reason. Like, I feel bad that his mom, like, forgets who he is and stuff, and their dad has disappeared for, like, years and years. I don't know. But it's just, like, evil and rude for no good reason. Like, I like evil characters. Sometimes I like evil characters, a lot of the times. But there needs to be more to them. It has to be a very well-written, morally gray or morally dark character. And again, kids' books are simpler, so maybe if I read it as a kid I would have actually enjoyed it, but as an adult, not a fan. Okay, so third, there's only two more that I'm going to talk about. Fingersmith by Sarah Waters. Everyone loved this book, and I'm just like, this was so boring. So it's labeled like so the perspective is from one girl, and then you get the same story told from the other girl. One, I really hate that type of writing. If you are going to do that, do not rehash everything that just happened. And in this case, that did happen, but it was literally not necessary at all. It was not necessary at all, and it was... And then there's a relationship between these girls, and there's really no truly real relationship between them, and at the end, they're like... good things are finally happening, I guess, for one or two of them, but that's all you know. You don't really know anything about them, or more about the relationship, or how they're resolving it, or how they're talking about what happened, and betrayal and stuff. Like, it's just that. Like, and I guess there was some plot twists that I think made the book for people. Like, they were like, oh my gosh, it's amazing, like, she tricked the tricker, but that was just like 2 pages of like, oh, okay. And then you reread the story from the other girl's perspective, and it's like the exact same stuff almost. Or stuff you could have inferred from the first part that just is confirmed in the second part. Like, I didn't think that was original, I didn't think it was clever, and I know a lot of people were recommending it because it was queer fiction, but to me, I didn't like the book, and that was a bummer because I've read a lot of good queer fiction this year that's with 2 male leads, and I was stoked to read a queer fiction with 2 female leads, and it was just not on. It was... I didn't like it, and I was so bummed. Oh, gosh. Okay. Final book is a graphic novel I read way earlier this year, which is My Friend Dahmer by Dirk Backdorf. And I remember talking about this in my wrap-up. I didn't like it, and I was pissed because it was basically the author capitalized. He went to high school with Dahmer, who's serial killer if you don't know, and he basically added nothing to the story. He wasn't a good friend of Dahmer's. He made fun of him with everyone else, and he was basically just rehashing facts that anyone could have Googled. And it really ticked me off that he capitalized on basically all these family sufferings of the people that Dahmer killed and everything. He was basically just capitalizing on this, and, you know, with this little string of connection that he had, and it was just, it made me just angry, because it didn't have anything new, and you knew he just did it for money. So, not even research, didn't do it for anything good and beneficial. It was just literally just straight up for money. And that made me really angry. And yeah, and it was a waste of my time because I already knew all that stuff that he was talking about. So yeah, so those are the, let's see, 4 books that I was really looking forward to, but that really let me down. They're not the only books I felt so about or didn't like, but again, that's fine because I didn't have that much hype for those books, but I was really hyped for these books, and they just didn't meet my excitement. So yeah, so let me know if you've read any of these. If you liked them, tell me why, maybe in a sentence or 2. If you disagree with me on certain things, go for it. Yeah, and I will see you guys in the next video.